Hello, my pumpkins. Hi, Terrie. I will send you an invite right away. Okay. Got way too much stuff open. Why is that not working? That's not what I want to do. Okay. All right, I sent you the invite on Messenger. Excuse me. So my mods should be joining us any second now. There's one of them. Hello, Cheryl. Oh, and Merlin saying hi too. Okay, I'm going to give him a peanut butter Kong before we get started because he's a Schnickel Fritz. Okay, go to your house. Good boy. All right, here we are. Hi, Emma. Hello, Jay. Welcome. Merlin does love his peanut butter Kongs. It keeps him out of trouble. There we go. And I'm going to add to stream. Okay. Yay! I see you. Can everyone see Terrie? Apparently. Okay.
Can everyone see me? Can you hear me?
Terrie, can you say something so we can hear you?
I am talking right now.
I'm buffering, so I'm going to shut down stuff. Okay. We should be good now. Yes. I'm going to unplug that. Okay, we're good.
There we go. I'm just gonna close some.
Mercury retrograde is okay. Mercury retrograde is supposed to be over. Maybe we're picking up some vibes from down the rabbit or deeper down the rabbit hole. You know, take a shot every time they have technical difficulties.
I would say we're still in a bit of the shadow, and of course Jupiter is out of retrograde too,
definitely.
so we still have a little bit of bad luck that's still hanging around us, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
But you know what?
And Venus goes into retrograde too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Venus is going retrograde soon too. So yeah.
Cherish your friends, tell them you love them, and be prepare to apologize for things that you said when Venus was in retrograde.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember.
The lust. You were saying?
So I am with my laptop's a piece of crap, and I have RAM issues. So sometimes if I'm slow, it kind of sounds like I'm interrupting you. I'm not meaning to. It's just technical difficulties. And both of us are Taurians, so we're ruled by Venus. And when Venus goes retrograde, I remember 1 year during Venus retrograde, I went through a breakup, and I think I had 7 friends, like 7 couples I knew broke up during that 5-6 week period.
It is brutal. I think the one thing that always gets us is the friendships that tend to go poof.
Yeah,
because we think
shit.
Yeah, you know, it's fine. We're friends. It's all cool. No, friendships go poof. People disappear. It is brutal.
Yeah. So let me do some introductions. So I have one of my favorite humans on my show tonight. I have Reverend Terrie Brookins from Beaumagique. She is just a fantastic human. I had Andrea Vidvis on the show a few months ago. Terrie stutters. I'm the one stuttering. Terrie studies under Andrea as well. When Andrea does workshops, we need to be separated because we talk too much. Our birthdays are a week apart. We are both Taurians. We are both business ladies. So Terrie, tell us a bit about yourself as well.
My name is Terrie. I'm a Taurus. I have Libra rising, which means I am doubly ruled by Venus. So when the Venus retrogrades happen, you will not see me. I will revert to text so that well, text and memes and emojis, just so that whatever I'm saying isn't misunderstood or misconstrued.
Yeah.
Um, I do a lot of things. I am a wedding officiant. So I officiate weddings through the Clergy Support Memorial Church here in Ontario, which is a lot of fun. And I'm not looking forward to that when Venus does her thing because, woo, trying to marry people when it's all, oh yeah, it's going to be a thing. Um,
Mhm.
what else do I do? I am a second degree priestess of the Corellian tradition, which is a lot of stuff. I also, wonder of wonders, run Beaumagique. So Beaumagique is my service to the community where I make um, conjure oils, condition oils, charged water sprays, and things like that. So all of this is like, little bits of magique to help you in your life because I have a fire moon and ADHD. So I got to do something.
Right.
Otherwise, I will burn this place to the ground. And that's not cool. Yeah, so this year has been quite the challenge. Well, since
Mhm.
the pepperoni pizza started, um, it's it's a parallelogram. So since the
Yeah.
parallelogram started, it has been the challenge for me as someone, as my favorite firehead knows, that I just go nonstop. And since
Mhm.
Boomajik started in 2014, I have been going nonstop. And then the parallelogram started, and I was supposed to, do all that shadow work and get all that rest that I keep telling all my people to go get.
Yeah. I am.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
that
plenty
that's a
of
thing.
time to rest, when you're dead.
Yeah,
Um.
see, but that's the thing,
So.
Caroline. In my tradition, when you die, that's when the work starts because then you become an ancestor and an elder, and now you just
Oh,
don't sleep at
yeah. Good
all.
point.
So I have to sleep now. And I have to tell my gods, dear
Yeah.
beautiful gods and spirits in the sky, please
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
that I have a corporeal body and this body likes pound cake. So we gotta work something out there.
Yeah. And as as much as Taurians, we're hard workers. Like we're kind of like we function on inertia. It's kind of like a body in motion stays in motion, but we like our creature comforts and we like our sleep. And yeah. So on this channel, we refer to the condition going on in the world as the beer bug.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
In
So,
my circles, we just call it any word that has like 4 or 5 syllables,
yeah.
at least three that starts with a P. So it's a
Yeah.
pepperoni pizza, it's a parallelogram, it's a perpendicular, you know,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Apparently, after the first 10 minutes after a YouTube stream starts, they censor less of it, so they pay less attention to some of those trigger words. I mean, obviously, there's some things that you still can't say, but I mean, after like 10, 15 minutes, if you drop the odd F bomb, it's not so bad. Um,
Well,
uh,
I haven't had my meditation yet today, so we'll see what happens.
yeah, and when we're ADHD, then sometimes like that's our saving grace is
Yeah.
having that 10 minutes to sit.
Yes, my saving grace is that I am actually cute and people take pity on me. So that's that's all I got.
So I
I'm
was
pretty.
trying to remember how long we've known each other, and we met because I got my British Cross here, and we met at Apollo's 40th birthday, right?
Yes, we
Okay,
did.
and I don't know how old he is now, but he's older than
Uh
50, so like 10,
yes.
15 years.
Yes. And I got to tell you, I saw this beautiful woman dancing, right? And and Caroline, I love you. So I'm just going to talk about you like you're not here for a second. So I saw this beautiful woman dancing, right? And when Shakira says the hips don't lie, let me tell you, you could have put me in a lie detector and I would have passed everything. No lies. And the hair was just going and she was dancing and I'm like, I have to talk to her. I have to talk to her. But of course, since we're ADHD, I'm also super shy.
Yeah.
As you can see as my screen goes blurry. Um So all I could think of was to say, I like your Bridget's cross. And then I ran away. But she was so beautiful. Y'all don't
Aw.
understand. She was so beautiful, and the hair and the drums were going. Oh, yeah, she's just, yeah. So there you
I
go.
think I had my paddle with me that night trying to give Apollo 40 spanks too. So
I would have paid money to see that.
yeah, I think he wimped out about halfway through.
Oh,
So anyway, let's get back on topic here because another problem is that because of the pandemic and because both of us have moved to different cities that we haven't caught up in so long, and so now we're like catching up while we're on live stream. Yeah, this is how Terry and I catch up. Yeah, she used to live in a so you're in the country now, but you used to be in the city, and you'd say something like send cookies or send tacos,
yeah.
and I'd make sure that
So.
tacos or cookies showed up at your.
Oh my God. So I work with Beaumagique. Now, Beaumagique, which is www.beaumagique.com, um,
I'm gonna
is my
type that in the
baby,
chat.
and I have been working with this. Oh yeah, if you don't mind, I've been working on Beaumagique for since 2014. So some of y'all can do the math. There you go, because I can't. Um, Beaumagique has over 150 products. And because we both hang out with a certain goddess named
Mm-hmm.
Bridget and my personal god named Lou, the ideas for those products never stop. So
Well,
there I am, right? It just doesn't stop, and for Lou, it's like you do the job or you quit. We're Taurians. We don't quit. We will hang on by our teeth and
mhm.
toenails if we got to. We don't quit. So there I am,
Even when it's
knee
bad
deep.
for us to spite someone else.
So there I am, knee deep in lavender, which I'm allergic to, making products, and I send out this lonely Facebook post and a tweet that says, "Send cookies." Now, part of ADHD is that I have terrible short-term memory. Imagine my surprise when 2 days later, a box of Oreos show up at my door. Those are the best damn Oreos. No, they were chocolate chips. They were
Yeah.
chocolate chips. They were the best cookies ever, ever. And then as I'm eating the cookies, another day, a few days go by, and I'm like, I'm so tired, send tacos. And like literally 10 minutes after I post that, I'm like, oh crap, my friends know where I live. I'm trying to like get to Facebook to turn it off. Nope, ding dong. There you go. Uber Eats is at my door with
Yeah.
tacos. It was amazing. They were so good. And they helped me out so much because I'm in my laboratory making all of these products, making new products, cleaning, doing all the things. So it's like a 70-hour a week job here.
Hmm.
And that doesn't include all the research, all the history,
Hmm.
all the divination with the spirits to make sure I'm doing this right. And it's not a completely terrible idea because I've done those things where I'm like, this, y'all want me to do what? This is a bad idea. They're like, just do it. Ah, all right, here you go.
So
There's so many bad ideas. Oh my God.
tell my so it's a slow night tonight. Sometimes we get up to like 15, 20 people in chat. I am grateful for everyone who's here. We got 4 people tonight. So if you could and then there's the replay crew. So this will upload on my YouTube channel. I think the chat takes 24 hours, but then we'll get views through there.
Okay.
I really do want to drive some business to you because your stuff really is top notch. I've been using your products for a while and I find them super effective. I have used your conditioning powders as dry shampoos. And so not only am I, putting the talc in my hair, but to dry up the oil because I don't wash my hair every day. But yeah, then get like the magical effects of the conditioning powders that are put in. And I used the Tendress, the
Mhm,
special love one, when I
mhm.
was with an ex boyfriend, as a like a linen spray, and that was a good night. That was a good night.
So so I'm gonna tell on Caroline again. So, once upon a time, Caroline says, "Terry, can I have some of your steady work powder?" I'm like, "Oh, crap." And then she says, "I use it as dry shampoo."
Yeah,
And then I didn't see Caroline again for, like, 8 months because she was busy, busy with shows and readings and being on the road and having to order new business cards. Just like, "Well, crap, I gotta change it." I didn't see her, so please, if you order steady work, for the love of the goddess, go easy on it, because whenever I touch it and I make it, this is why no one's seen me in 6 months. Not just because I've
yeah,
moved, but because I'm busy. I just got another wholesale order tonight and I'm crying because I'm like, this is turning to 80 hours a week. I'm supposed to be
yeah,
resting.
yeah. You're
My therapist is
you're
gonna
gonna have
love
to
this.
hire staff or something. So any buffering issues are coming through me since the my yeah, so my laptop's crap. I have very little RAM, and I need to get a new one or fix my old one. It'll happen. Maybe I need to, use some
Well,
steady
you
work
know,
and money
if you use
from
that
a
steady
certain
work,
company, and then we'll then I'll get it fixed. But
you're
yeah,
gonna have
so
to
there's
sign a
on my
waiver.
side, yeah, the StreamYard's on my side, and then Terry's stream is coming through my stream out to you guys. So that's kind of what's going on there. Thank you so much for your patience with the technical issues, and yeah, we'll just I've got some whiskey in here. This is a ginger and whiskey, so ginger and Jameson. So I'll take a sip there when we have technical difficulties. So yeah, the podcast Deeper Down the Rabbit Hole from Andrea Vitamus. They have technical difficulties. The co-host is Jason Colwell, and the joke between Terry and I, because they have so many technical difficulties, is every time that Deeper Down the Rabbit Hole, I almost said Without a Crystal Ball. Oh my god, I can't believe I did that. That's a problematic YouTuber. Don't worry about her. Anyway, but yeah, Deeper Down the Rabbit Hole. Every time they have technical issues, take a shot. So that's been our
But
joke.
Caroline,
We need a
what
plastic
what
by the end of the episode.
what do you expect from chaos magicians?
Right? Right. Apparently, though, some of the technical difficulties are Jason getting like frustrated with the guest and just putting them on mute because he can't take them anymore.
Oh, I wonder if that'll work with some people I know. Note to self, make a mute potion. Just mute potion. All right then. All right then.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I
carrying on.
there was one time. So Terry has a mixture that is étoile, which is French for star. And when she had said that, I misheard, and I thought it was l'école, which is school. And I'm like, you should totally make an ADHD scent so that we it has called l'école. So you're gonna school someone. We're gonna
I mean,
to school. So it's actually like a mix of like I can't remember what I asked for in it, but it's a bunch of like attention and concentration.
hmm yep. There goes Caroline again. Also, fair warning, everyone. We also work with Faye. This
Yeah.
happens. It happens.
So let's
Yeah.
talk. So our our subject, and again, like two ADHDers, and we're just like can't stay on topic. So the topic of the episode is what is root working. So how would you define root working?
So remember that I do not speak for all root workers and conjurers. I can
Okay.
only tell you my definition through my lens. Um, Root workers are people who work with botanicals, especially those who are of Black descent.
Hmm.
So those descended from slaves, um, those descended from those who were just grossly mistreated.
Right.
And that root work is not necessarily the things that they learned back in continental Africa.
Mhm.
This would be what we learned and gained and gleaned from those around us
Yeah.
at the time. So at the times, let's say during, the first years of slavery into, the 1800s, we learned from everyone. So we see that, okay, this particular root does a thing. And someone says, oh, great grandpappy had a root like that back in the day, and it
Mhm.
did this.
Yeah,
And therefore now we learn.
yeah, and you have to use what's around you, right? Like if you're in a
Yes.
pinch, you can't necessarily. I mean, back in those days, Amazon wasn't a thing. You couldn't just order from Africa and okay, well, I need this specific one thing, this one adapt to your environment and adapt to your or to the land around you.
Hmm.
So, would you say that there are also some indigenous North American, uh, like Aboriginal um, traditions that are tied in with fruit working as well, or is it just kind of
Um,
something that's become its own using the stuff that's around?
it depends because root working can be very individual. So if someone has indigenous blood in them or have been accepted by
Hmm.
indigenous cultures and communities, and they did the homework and they understood all the assignments, then they can use all that they've learned with those indigenous communities
Hmm.
in their root work. So, but it really depends. And don't forget that although I am from New Orleans, root work spans almost all of North America, especially United States. So, South Carolina root work
Yeah,
is going to be a whole lot different than Texas root work. And even then,
yeah, absolutely.
carrying what I know from my learnings into Canada, it's a whole different biosphere here. It's a completely different botanical, terrain that I had to learn a whole lot about. So the work never stops, right? This is part of the history and research.
Yeah.
And when you were saying about, just getting stuff from Amazon, it's right. And I would use the talc as an actual example. So in my studies and my research, um, talc wasn't always used. Talc came about maybe mid 1800s, early 1900s. And here's the reason why, in my opinion, and my research and my experience. So, at the end of the Meiji era, when Asians were leaving Asia and coming over to the New World, okay, they had incense from their temples.
Hmm.
And what they would do is that once the incense was burned for, let's say, a sick person, they would take the ashes from the incense and rub it on their bodies. Now, what happens when you've run out and you can't send back to Japan for more? You use what you have.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
here we are. So now you'll see,
So.
you know, those who are Black, Indigenous, or whatever it is, seeing these Asian people do this thing, they're like, that's cool. Can I learn how to do that? So we learned, but we couldn't get
Hmm.
incense. Well, what else looked like, ashes? Actual ash from a fire where you've burned all the healing herbs, rub that on
Yeah.
you. And over time, and of course, after many, many fires in wooden houses, we just said, okay, this stuff sort of looks like that stuff. And if we put all the herbs in it, it should do the same thing. Voila, sachet powders.
Yeah. And one thing that Andrea taught me is that if you ever like read a spell in a book or if somebody tells you a spell, that you should try tweaking it to make it your own. So doing something so that it's yours. And I mean, number one, that's like that changes the
Oh, losing Caroline again.
right, like
Can't see. All right, here we
So
go.
yeah, knowing kind of what does what, you can. Yeah, I'm back now. Yeah, this is bugging me too. I'm considering maybe like hopefully we can get through the hour. If it gets really bad, I'll like stop and restart, and hopefully won't lose the entire stream. Uh, uh,
And don't
so
forget,
yeah,
boys
like
and
knowing
girls.
what herb does what, and then so if an herb calls for something else, and you want to make it your own, so you could use
Hmm. Oop, lost her again.
also like there's things that you can do to personalize it. So for instance, as we talked about before, I'm not a fan of patchouli, but other people like patchouli. So if a certain spell calls for patchouli, sometimes I will take that out and I will put in whiskey because whiskey is, druid holy water. So that's a change that's personal, but it's also more pleasing to me because I don't like patchouli, and that's
Hmm.
just my deal.
Well, and patchouli is also known as like, the underwear dropper. You get some good whiskey, there's a whole lot of things that might drop. So there you go. Um, Jay has asked me, how careful do we need to be with substitutions and changing spells? Extremely, extremely. I recently taught a class on herbs and substitutions, and I am not sad to say that I tricked them all. It wasn't a class on herbs and substitutions, it was a class on critical thinking. So the example was, let's all make a love potion.
Hmm.
Don't ask me for it. I mean, for Caroline, I might make it, but don't ask me for it. So these beautiful people, they said, okay, let's do it. So we talked about all the things that might go in a love potion. And they were like, Damiana, jasmine, rose, patchouli, all right. And then I had to tell them, congratulations, everything you've just listed are aphrodisiacs. So is this a love potion or a lust potion?
Hmm.
It's a thing. So you have to be really, really careful, especially, oh my God, Caroline, the thing that just drove me off the deep end where all the memes where it says, you can use rosemary to substitute in any spell. Please, goddess, don't do it. It's a trap.
No, no.
It's a complete trap because if you drop that in a love potion, so let's say you drop some rosemary in this ridiculous love potion that we've just made. So now your
Yeah.
target is now realizing, because rosemary is also for good memory.
Hmm.
Maybe
Very
they're
masculine
realizing that,
energy too.
right? Maybe all the things that you've been saying don't add up. And now they're realizing that all those things just don't add up. I'm like, rosemary is also good for exorcisms. Maybe then you are purified of whatever spirit that has possessed you to go after this person.
Right. And
What you want me to do?
coriander is something that can be associated with love and fidelity, but which is very similar, is associated with covering up the smell of the dead. So there's very different purposes there in knowing what does what. So yeah, you don't want to substitute or just, oh, I'm out of coriander, so therefore parsley is pretty well the same thing. No, you'd want something else that's kind of along the same lines as what coriander does. Again, looking at what does what. Now, for me, because I tend to prefer, and again, this is, TMI about Caroline, I tend to prefer men who are on the service submissive side. So I want them to do
Mhm,
stuff for me. And so maybe I'll put a little bit of coffee in there because, yeah, because I'm me. But if somebody wants someone who's more dominant, then maybe something like dandelion would be good because that is such a, strong herb. Um,
mhm,
I like some people hate dandelion. I like dandelion's kind of I feel like my Patronus plant because like you just can't kill it. It's gonna come back no matter what, and it's gonna be fabulous and beautiful. And yeah, it's the first one to come up in the spring. I also love mint for the same reason. Like mint's gonna come back. You can't kill it because
mhm.
you try to kill mint, it's gonna give you a big fu. So
And we will laugh and laugh and laugh. But yeah, so it's these things that you have to know about, and all of these things come with root work, and they come with being a root worker. Now, we also have to remember that it is no longer 1845.
Hmm.
It's not even 1945 anymore. It's not even 2005. God, I'm old. Anyway, so we
I
have to
know, right?
remember that I can't get into it. Oh my God. So we have to remember that things aren't the same. And just because we've used, let's say XYZ all of this time, that doesn't mean that there isn't something better out there for it,
Right.
right? So maybe instead of, using rosemary, try using just plain old salt.
Hmm.
Why? Because our bodies are made of mostly fluids, some salts in there that's running this bacon suit, and that's about it. So salt
Bacon.
actually, we're with bacon
I
suit.
love you.
So salt is actually one of the things that
Um,
keeps us going.
yeah, and yeah, I love that. Um, and looking at how things have changed within our society and how we relate to different herbs is also important. Like, for instance, tea in the Victorian times, especially in North America, tea was so valuable and so overtaxed. I mean, back in your country, you guys had a big party about that, didn't you? So yeah, it used
Well,
to be like if you had a tea collection, you had a special tea box and you put it on your mantle to show off to your guests that you can
mhm,
afford to drink real tea. And
mhm,
now, like, we can go to the dollar store and get some, orange pico. So tea doesn't have that same value that it did before.
mhm,
But and I know from you, like, I've had effective money spells, that you put gold flakes in some of your
mhm,
stuff, and it's not as edible or drinkable as tea, but it's still, we put far more value on gold than we do, because tea
mhm,
used to be as valuable as gold. But if you were in Central or South America, silver's dirt cheap. So
mhm,
silver, as we would prize it, especially in older times. So I
mhm,
think it's important to think about how things change over time and how we can relate to that. And also in looking at the sustainability of certain products and certain industries and how they've changed. I've been a huge fan of frankincense, and I just watched a documentary on how frankincense is harvested, and I'm like, is this something I really want to have as a part of my practice anymore? Um, so many people use white and purple sage like it's going out of style, and white and purple sage grown wild are now endangered. And so I always tell people, like, if you're going to use sage, make sure that you are getting it from and that you're. I know we're buffering again.
Well, it's the same thing
I
with
gotta stop grooming
pineapples.
myself and playing with my hair. That's why I usually keep it back. But
It's the
yeah,
same thing with pineapples,
I don't know.
and it's really
Yeah.
weird because at one point in time in the deep south for sure, having access to fruit was a big deal. You would take this horribly mangled pineapple that survived on somebody's ship for 2 months, and you would display it
Hmm.
proudly. And that's why
Yeah.
in a lot of southern states, people couldn't afford the pineapple, but hey, we have a pineapple plate, and we have pineapples on all of our dishware, and that's how you sort of substituted
Hmm.
in the largesse, the importance of who you were and how influential you were, because I have pineapple plates. What do you have? So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a
And
big thing.
yeah, and in lace, all of the lace from that time had the fancy lace had pineapple patterns, and there's actually like a type of crochet pattern in lace that's called pineapple stitch, and that was a hobby, a pastime of the wealthy debutante women. They would make lace and tat and crochet, and it was kind of like your skill as a and cross stitch too. Your skill as a one of these fabric artists, these lacers or tatters or crocheters, determined your value as a potential wife.
Mhm,
Because if you had time to sit around and practice your cross stitch, then you weren't out working, and so you came from money if you had good crochet skills.
Hmm.
And of course, you know me, like, crochet or the highway, right? Although it hasn't helped me land a husband yet.
Oh
Um,
yeah. And that's what is. Oh, by the way, Caroline, I got some ridiculously soft alpaca wool that I'm carding for you.
okay. Yep.
Anyway, it's a big bag. I'm gonna card it for you and see if I can take it over to a spinner. Anyway,
Okay. And then,
so yeah.
do you know Amanda Pants Koval Hyde?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she spins.
Yeah, I still gotta card it, but there you go.
Yeah.
So anyway, so yes,
Well, I'll come visit then, and I'll pack a suitcase.
yeah, so this is how we are, people. Just kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so understanding why certain things were important back then,
Hmm.
and translating that to now,
Yeah.
and also we have to use all the things we've learned about the planet since then, because in
Hmm.
1845 it was ridiculously rare for you and I to be friends.
Yeah.
It was increasingly rare for me to be able to read or even afford glasses.
Hmm.
And I can hear my ancestors now. My daughter, she prospers. She does nothing but eat chips and drink booze.
And
We've
cookies
made
arrive
it,
at her
you know.
door for white women.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I hang out with, oh, she prospers. We made it, people. We made it. But it's the way it is. So I have to value all the things that they would value
Hmm.
and build that into my practice.
Yep.
And like you were talking about the frankincense. Okay, so frankincense is horribly over harvested.
Hmm.
So if I want to have something super special, one, I have to find frankincense oil that is ethically taken. And if I wanted to have actual frankincense resin, I go to Dan Rigler, Apothecary's Garden, because Dan goes to the African continent,
Hmm.
hangs out with all the people who have the boswellia trees, and talks to them and brings home a smelly suitcase. That's the stuff I
Yep.
want to use.
Hmm.
Because why not? It is ridiculously valuable, which increases its power to me.
Yeah.
And if I drop one in something I make for you, it's not my fault if it vibrates out of your hand, because
Yeah.
everything I make is slightly alive.
Yep. I made a video not too long ago, and I'm pretty sure you know my stance on this about crystals and how um, the crystal industry does a lot of harm, and that there are ethically sourced crystals out there, but they are not cheap. And so if you are going somewhere and you are buying a crystal, you should be asking, where was this sourced? And if
And we
you're
don't want to,
not, like,
and if you want it, stop being a little blankety blank 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 about the price.
mm,
Pay the money. I recently got two very large pieces of lapis. We don't want to talk about how much they cost, because they were ethically sourced, lovingly hand packaged, and sent to my house.
mhm,
They are packed in their own boxes because that's the way this works. And they are part of all the things that I think are cool and powerful. The lapis I wear now, ethically sourced. The
mhm,
necklace is handmade because that's how I want to do things. I don't want to pick up all my stuff from, as beautiful as they are. There are a lot of like beautiful metaphysical stores that have no idea what they're doing,
yep,
and I can. So now that I am really the priestess that people need, I got to think about this. And I can't ethically, morally, or spiritually fuss at other people for doing things if I don't take my own advice.
yeah. And it's kind of like, if you can't afford, like, you should use the best quality that you can reasonably afford. I don't want someone going out and buying ethically sourced crystals when they can't afford to put food on the table. Um, so knowing kind of what does what, again, gives you an opportunity to have more flexibility. So if you can't afford, a rose quartz, maybe um, vanilla might be a substitute that is a little more reasonably priced.
Mhm.
And even, vanilla, we can get into that another day too, because that's another herb that
Just
that
oh
uh,
oh that's oh
yeah.
shh.
Um, but you probably have some in your pantry. And again, like same with if you're doing a cleanser or something, anything cleansing, salt is one of the best cleansers, not only spiritually but also physically. That salt water, you gargle with salt water, and it's you're
Mhm,
right, our bodies are made of it, but it does kill bacteria and kill germs and I don't know how effective it is at certain things, but that's a great cleanser for multiple reasons. Now, I have a video planned, and I was going to talk to you about it first, but I'll just talk to you about it here. And I know you're not going to have a problem with it, but yeah, I actually plan on showing people how to use a floor wash, and it's your
mhm.
floor wash. um,
Okay.
yeah, and like this is how it's used, and so it's something that it's a part of your daily life that you can do something magical, but you have to clean your floors anyway. At least I hope you
Mhm,
do. So why not add that magical element to it? And like when I was using the powders as dry shampoo, it's like I have to use dry shampoo anyway. Why don't I add a little magic to it? And so there's that aspect to it, which makes your life a little more magical and a little more special. And
mhm.
um, I really
Well,
like
and
that aspect of it, like little magic things you can add to your life. Like I do banishing when I peel potatoes. So like all the stress and all the yuckiness in my life, I'm banishing it away with every stroke of potato, because you're supposed to peel potatoes away from you. Same with washing dishes. I wash all my dishes Widdershins, and that's a banishing for me. So as I'm cleaning my
mhm.
plate, I'm cleaning my soul.
And the ridiculous powders that she's using, you can use those as carpet deodorizer.
Yes.
Sprinkle some banishing around when, people have been in your house that you don't want ever again to visit you.
Hmm.
Vacuum that crap right up and off they go.
Yeah, or even if
Promise.
there are other cleansings that you could use, like if you've had a fight with someone you love and that energy is kind of hanging in the air, you can get that energy out through using the powders as a carpet deodorizer, carpet cleanser. And people ask me all the time, like, yeah, how do I clean my house spiritually? And I usually tell people to incorporate it unless they're having actual like symptoms. If there's not like if there's something going on, then you need to up your game. But if it's just like a regular cleansing, like you moved in somewhere, and or you just want to do like a spring cleaning spiritually, then incorporate it into your regular cleaning. So yeah, use floor washes, use the magical powders as carpet cleaners, use you can add different oils and things to your cleaning products. Now,
Mhm,
of course, be safe. There are some things that should not touch skin that are dangerous. Even some of the powders, like I'm very careful to not get it in my eyes. So be
mhm.
careful with that. Don't do anything, and don't sue me. Anything that you do is because of your own choices. So do your own research. But yeah, so we have to be careful with that. And even like if you're using a certain kind of oil on your floor, you want to do a test spot first to make sure I don't want to get sued for anybody, wrecking their hardwood or something. But so yeah, do a test corner. But yeah, you can. So I recommend this is kind of what I do weekly is I open up all the windows
Mhm,
to let some fresh air in, and even like middle of January I just clean quick because I get cold. And yeah, I put on some really happy music. I have a playlist of just like super super happy stuff, like Justin Timberlake's "Can't Stop the Feeling" and Pharrell's "Happy" and things like that. And I just blast it and I dance around my house and I clean with and adding some magic to that. So I'm spiritually cleaning as I'm physically cleaning, and lo and behold, my house gets cleaned. Oh, we did some questions, and again, me being ADHD, so Jay has a question.
mhm.
Jay asks, "Are your powders pet safe?"
I would say they are not, only because it is still a cleaning product.
Hmm.
So if you have small pets, please either crate them or get them out of the house, but while you do your cleaning, and then let them back in.
Yeah. And another question, also from Jay. Since coriander seeds and cilantro come from the same plant, can you use them for the same thing?
Um, some people say yes, I would say no, because don't forget coriander and cilantro have different tastes and they do different things in cooking.
Yeah, I would say it depends, and which is such a terrible answer, I know, but
But it is what it is, right?
yeah. So something that I have heard before, and you kind of got to be careful of how you do it because they're going to feel it. But if you want someone to be faithful, if you put coriander seeds in their shoes, apparently that's an old wives' tales for keeping someone
Hmm.
faithful. But then you're like, I got a stone in my foot. What the heck is this round thing? This looks like coriander. Oh, you know.
Well, and don't forget that probably came from a time when people walked so much that they didn't notice things in their shoes.
Yeah.
That's like when I use the steady work, I'm grinding gravel root. The reason why we use gravel root is because so many people walked to work. They didn't have cars,
Mhm.
and the gravel would get in their shoes,
Yeah.
dust and things like that. That's why we use it. So you gotta, it depends on how you do it and what you do it. For beginners, I would say no, and I would say even if you are intermediate, use something else. Don't swap them out until you have a better track record. And when I say track record, I mean you are writing down all the things that you were doing and making, and you are charting the results.
Yeah, and, like, you can use some magical ingredients that are food safe in food and have, like, magic food, and I could totally see, like, having a Bieltana salad, so, that's kind of a bit of a lusty holiday that many, neo-pagans and Druids have, of May 1st, April 30th, which is, you know, a certain Taurian's birthday. Uh, so yeah, making like this beautiful love salad and putting some cilantro in there. And you know, obviously, you're not going to want to use coriander seeds instead of cilantro leaves because you want leaves. And I know some people hate cilantro. There is actually a gene that's identified with people who think that it tastes like soap. So
Tastes
obviously,
like
like
so.
yeah, if you think it tastes like soap, don't use it. Unless you want to, yeah, eat Thrills gum, I guess.
Or if you're going to use it, if you know you want to basically have wash somebody's mouth out with soap,
Oh, yeah.
it's like, oh, he said some bad things. Cilantro for you.
Mhm.
Ah.
Yeah. So we have another question. This is from Cheryl, who is one of my awesome mods. All my mods are awesome, but Cheryl's been with me the longest. Do you send orders to Europe?
Technically, yes. However, I am not responsible for your country's or any country's rules against sending postal things. Like like I can't send anything that has beeswax in it to certain countries because it interferes with the local,
Right.
ecology. Can't do that. So technically, yes. I don't know when it'll get there, but yes, I can do that. I do see that Cheryl has a Russian grandmother.
Oh, did I miss that?
Whoa,
No,
she did root work. We'll have to
Cheryl
talk,
isn't in
Cheryl.
Russia. But
We'll
yeah,
talk.
Cheryl's awesome. I'll connect you to if it's okay. If I have your consent, Cheryl, I'll connect you to on Facebook. What was I gonna say? My train of thought. Oh yeah. So we were talking about coffee, and this is a neat thing. And you actually were the one who told me about that because somebody gave me some like coffee oil, and I was like, "What do I do with this?" And so you can tell that story.
Yeah, yeah. No, you tell the story.
Okay.
You
So
tell it.
coffee is a great way to get people to do stuff for you. And that is one of the reasons why most employers will, you know, count the pencils and make sure you're not stealing pencils and they will, you know, nickel and dime you for everything. But at work, you usually get free coffee. There's a
All the
reason
free
for that.
coffee. All
Yeah.
the free coffee in the world. So is sugar. So coffee, donuts, free birthday cake. They're trying to snow you, people.
Yep.
They're trying to snow you.
Yeah, so if you want someone to do something for you, you can give them coffee. Oh, you know, here's a coffee. Just out there thinking about you. Got you some Starbucks, and you know, then you actually get the lawn cut or the bathroom painted or whatever.
I will take gift cards. Thank you very much.
Hmm.
$5 gift cards sent to me. I will hear whatever it is that you want me to make. And look, we're both Taurians. We both know. Caroline, there was one show where I was run off my feet and someone says, "Oh, Terry, I got your coffee. Anything else?" And I'm like, "I'd love a cheeseburger." I'm joking. That blankety blank came back with a cheeseburger. So yes, I'm like, "What do you want, baby? I'll get you anything you want. Here you go." That's right. Got me a coffee and a cheeseburger. All right then. It's fine with me.
Yeah, I tend to take things really literally. So yeah. I don't know
It's
what
okay. I love this. I love it
somebody's like
because
send tacos. Oh, okay.
it makes me stop and think about it. Because here's another story. Once upon a time, as you all know, that Taurians have really bad tempers. I was convinced that someone had taken one of my big crystals from Quaidville. It's a big, I mean, we minded ourselves, we dug it up. I was convinced someone swiped it. So there I am in my lab. I'm mad, I'm throwing stuff around, and I open my big mouth and I said something to the effect of, you know what? I don't care if you guys are nice about it. Bring back all my crap, that stuff that people have taken from me. Caroline is laughing because she knows exactly how I screwed that one up. So I have been finding socks that people have taken one of, um, old friends who got whisked away by, a new friend group. They're popping up still. And what am I going to say? I'm going to say nothing but thank you because I didn't think about it. I didn't think about what I was saying. They would take me literally, especially when Jay is right. I wasn't specific enough. And I had a lot of emotion behind what I was saying.
Yeah.
See, Caroline wears the fire on her head. I got the fire in my heart. So when I am super engaged and like raging,
It
it's not
is
my fault.
difficult to get it, just so you know, people, it is difficult to get a Taurus angry. However, once we start, so it's kind of like if there's a bull, it's sleeping in the meadow, and you start poking it with a stick, it's going to ignore you for a while because getting up and charging is a lot of work. But
Work.
once it starts charging,
Oh,
you've got it coming, and
well,
it's
I
not
mean,
going to stop.
I tell people that I am the mountain. I am beautiful. I am the mountain. I am the streams on the mountain. I am the forest that is the mountain. If you make me upset, the mountain becomes a volcano. And it's not my fault if I send 30,000 pounds of lava to your house. It's all over
Mhm,
with.
mhm.
Oh, look,
Um,
all your entire village is gone. Not my fault. You mess with me.
So my favorite story about not being specific enough, and this is a great story about magic and being specific. This was when I was very, very early in my magic journey and not kind of knowing much about stuff. And I had a coworker who was a pain in the rear, and I was not getting along with this coworker. This coworker actually reported me to my supervisor for how I loaded the dishwasher because he didn't like the way that I loaded the dishwasher and would actually like criticize the way I cut potatoes because it wasn't the way his mother cut potatoes. So this is the coworker I'm dealing with. I thought, okay, well, I know this guy isn't happy at work. I know that he's really just he's probably just taking out his unhappiness about his job on me. So why don't I do a spell for him to get a better job? And I did, and it worked. And 3 weeks later, he was my new boss, and I quit.
Oh. So that's what happened. What when things like this happen, we don't ask. We just holy crap. Oh, that's just rude.
Yeah.
That's just rude. And yeah, it just wasn't specific. I mean, but you know what? I'm just gonna say it, Caroline. I think you're better off.
Yeah. Yep.
I think you're better off. Because I mean, I'm just saying that, I would have had to get out all my shovels and all my tarps if you would have stayed there and had to make that trip. Woo! Being in somebody's yard at 2 o'clock in the morning ain't no joke. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
love
I'll
Terry.
do it, but
Terry
still.
is the kind of person I would call if I needed to hide a body. Not that I have bodies to hide, but that's the just awesome person. Don't worry, you're not getting any calls to hide a body. Okay. Yeah, I've had to call you at you know, side of the road, like, okay, I need to hear this. I want to do this magic thing, and yeah, I completely out of my mind? Is this completely terrible? And you're kind of like, you got to do what you got to do, and there are consequences. And you had brought up some very good points before I did that. I'm not going to tell you the details of that one because that's personal. So we do have a question from Jesse C. asks, I think this is a question. Book recommendations for magical food aromatherapy for beginners. I'm going to bring up Amazon so I can get links. There is one that I would like to recommend, and this one I actually got at the grocery store, in like near the checkout aisle. So this is not necessarily a magic book, but I use it anyway for magic. It is the Lone Pine Edible and Medicinal Plants of Canada. I don't know where you are, Jesse, but if you are in kind of the Carolinian era, so this is it. I'll find a link to it. And of course, Amazon's being slow. So after this is published, I will link. I'll link it afterwards. So this book, it has clear photographs. It says, so I'm just opening up to, now this says Canada, but Canada's a very big place with many different diverse areas. Okay, so I'm looking at opening it here to the violet. Okay, and then it says how it's used as food, how it's described, other uses, and it also has, there are warnings. Use violets in moderation. Some leaves contain saponin, which can cause digestive upset. Used in large quantities. Only the leaves and stems of the flower should be eaten, and these in moderation. Violet roots, rootstocks, fruits, and seeds contain toxins, and more stuff like that. And even things like strawberries actually have a warning that if you eat too many strawberries, you can get rashes and you can get loose bowel issues. So this one also has warnings if something looks like it but isn't edible. So for instance, wild onions are great, and you can find them in the spring. They're plentiful, they're lovely. Wild onions look a lot like and grow in the same area as Death Mountain camas. So you want to know how to tell the difference of the two, and the difference is you pull one and it smells like onions, then it's onions. If it doesn't smell like onions, then don't eat it. But then, what if you lost your sense of smell due to a certain beer bug that's going around? Maybe that if smell is the difference, maybe you should take someone with you who can smell, or just not eat green wild onions. So yeah, this is a great book. It is by McKinnon, Kershaw, Arneson, Owen, Karst, Hammersley, Chambers. So it's a bunch of different authors, but this is a really good book. And like I said, I got it at the grocery store. It will sometimes say if there are Native American uses for that herb that are magical, sometimes that'll be listed. So it might say that, under other uses, it might say, indigenous people use this as a love tonic or something. But yeah, for most of this is about like safety and identification. So that is my recommendation.
I would say The Alchemy of Herbs by Rosalie de la Forêt. Came out in 2017, but it's still a good book because it looks at all the things that you can use for everyday foods and remedies that heal. So let's say you have a tickle in your throat. Ginger lemon tea. Now, magically, what would those things do? So tea by itself is a diuretic. If it's black tea, it's going to have some caffeine in it to give you some energy. Ginger is what they call a hot herb, because once again, it does speed up your metabolism. And the lemon, of course, we all know what citrus fruits do. They kill bacteria and other things, as well as boost your immune system.
I would also add a little honey to that to coat the throat as it goes down.
So, let's say there's someone who just irritates you enough to grind your teeth. Here, have some ginger lemon tea to soothe that irritation. That's how it works, people. Magic. That's how it works.
Hmm.
So, yes, you can definitely use those things. And, oh, let's loop back to what Caroline said. You don't have ginger lemon tea, salt, and water. Ta-da!
And the smallest little pinch is not going to be tasteable. Like it's not going to be noticeable. Now, something you do need to be aware of, probably not with salt, but with other herbs, is things like allergies and sensitivities. There could be somebody who, you want to be like, here, have this concoction, not knowing that they're allergic to citrus or not knowing that they're going to have a reaction to something.
Mhm.
And if you know that, or if you can reasonably find that out, like you can actually be charged with poisoning. So just be
Mhm.
careful with that,
Yeah.
because you don't want to injure anybody with that. And yeah, like I've run into issues where I didn't know somebody was had a sensitivity to something, and there's no way I could have known. But yeah, so it's important to be really aware of that kind of stuff. And like I said,
Yeah.
someone being allergic to salt or allergic to water, I have heard that it was like a weird,
It's
weird
very rare,
control
but
place,
still.
but people can be allergic to water. You would know. I would think that would be like, hi, my name's so and so, and I'm allergic to water. That would be like the first thing they tell you,
Yeah.
because it's so common. But and no one's gonna like take a drink if they're allergic to water. You're not gonna slip somebody water in their water. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're like I have a cannabis allergy, and my neighbor smokes heavily, and it helps her with migraines, but it gives me migraines. So
Mhm.
if someone was like, here, take this, it'll help with your headache, and it has cannabis in it, well, that would not be good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like for me, I'm allergic to lavender.
mhm,
I know it's ridiculous, lavender isn't everything. And yes, someone tried to give me a beautiful, lovely tea. And I'm like, oh, it's like, oh, it has chamomile in it. And I take one sip and I can feel my throat start. I'm like, what else? Like lavender
mhm,
breaks out the EpiPen and dials 911, and I gotta wait. So yeah, you have to be really, really careful because in magic, that can work against you as well. So
mhm,
if someone is allergic to lavender and they want some sort of thing that has lavender in it, I will stop them.
mhm,
The first thing I ask is, do you have any allergies or sensitivities? Even oral allergies. And oral allergies are like if I eat strawberries or even citrus, the inside of my mouth will start to like bubble and strip.
yeah,
The rest of my body is fine. La la la, rubbing lemons all over my body. Eat it, bad times.
mhm,
Bad times. So you have to be really, really careful with that. But yeah, so and as we move forward into, you know, we are in the 21st century. As we move forward into the 22nd, we are living in an age where we have access to all of this information, all of it on your phone, which is basically more powerful than all the computers that sent people to the freaking moon. You got it right here.
mhm,
You got it right here. I'm not saying Google everything, but definitely, start asking for book recommendations.
yeah,
Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do that? And let's be real, people. If someone who is basically considered a expert in the field, listen to them
mhm, and pay them.
and pay them. Caroline's fine. She's got me. By the way, I have to tell you that beautiful little silk um, tarot bag that you gave me.
Mhm.
I keep all my precious items in it.
Aw.
It's in my drawer. I love it so much. But yeah, and yeah, so Caroline's got me. I know it. But
Mhm,
it's you have to think about all of these things, which is why this path is seemingly not for everyone, why it seems so complicated, because we have to keep all of these things in our heads at any given part in time. And it's a lot of work.
Now, when it comes to paying them, it's a lot of people. Now, I'm speaking for you, Terry, and I apologize for that. But there are a lot of people who have very specific cultural knowledge, and I don't have that knowledge. So, if I'm going to ask Terry a question specifically related to, um, you know, Southern U.S., Louisiana root working, um, that's asking emotional and actually like physical labor from her, and that can be really exhausting if all of these people from other cultures, especially other cultures who have been unkind to her ancestors and whatnot, start like taking all this energy from her. So there's an exchange, and it doesn't always have to be money. Sometimes it can be like if you're meeting with an old neighbor of yours who's an elderly person, like coming over and bringing a coffee and a muffin. Um, that goes a long way. So there's an exchange. There should always be some sort of exchange going on. It shouldn't just be you taking. So on my channel, I remember being told when I went pro tarot to never ever give free readings, because you just end up having people who just want free readings and they never ever buy anything. And when I started my YouTube channel, I was doing free readings on Tuesdays, and I had a lot of people who were coming and getting like one little reading every week. And then it's kind of like you go to your manicurist who's doing one nail for free once a week, and you go 10 weeks in a row and you've got a full manicure and didn't pay for it. So I found that I was being drained, I was being taken advantage of. So I said, it's by donation only on my Tarot Tuesdays, and I just do like a quick 4-card spread. But even if it's $1, that's still an exchange. So you're getting something of value from me, and I'm giving something of value to you. So if you are going to be asking for, now, I mean, it's one thing, like if I ask Terry for a question, we're friends, we have a rapport between us going back many years. And it's kind of like if I was going to ask someone to move, I could ask Terry and her husband. If I'm going to ask a stranger on the street to move, they're like, yeah, I'll help you move, $100 an hour, that kind of thing. So, and as you've seen, I've given stuff to Terry, like, so it's not like I'm just always taking from her. When you are wanting something from somebody else, you should be in a position to at least try to offer something in exchange. Now, for Indigenous people, it's often tobacco, and there's actually like a way to give tobacco. But if you don't know that way, and you know that they're a smoker and they're Indigenous, offering them a pack of their brand of cigarettes is a good exchange, and that's not terribly expensive. I'm not a smoker, I wouldn't know which brand to go, but yeah, or cooking somebody dinner, bringing them, like, if I never show up to somebody's house empty-handed. That's kind of a taboo in my religion, and Terry knows that as well. She came over to my house once and she brought me like this really nice incense, and so yeah, be aware of that exchange. It's something called Gosti, which is the sacred relationship between guest and host, and is actually where we get our words ghost and Gosti is ghost, guest, and host. We all get from that same root word. I didn't realize, because we went way over. So usually I try to keep my live streams to an hour, and it's 9:09. So thank you so much, Terry. Do you have anything else to add while you are before I let you go?
Yeah, so I moved this year from the city to the country. The move was quite traumatic. So if you decide to order anything, please know that I am working on it. I'm also working on rebuilding my lab, and of course, making all sorts of weird things because the instructions never stop. Um, you can see where I am on Facebook, Beaumagique, BAUXMAGIQUE, um, www.beaumagique.com, as well as my website. And yeah, if you excuse me, have questions, you want to buy something, you're worried about shipping, you're worried about allergies, message me, email me, let me know. That way we can make something that is appropriate for you. Excuse you. Appropriate for you and will actually work. Because like we talked about dandelions, there are people who are allergic to those. And a lot of the things that are used in a lot of my products can be allergy inducing. So please let me know. And yeah, thank you for joining us for like 21st Century Rootwork and beyond. It's been a great
Yeah,
time.
I had a fantastic time. You are welcome back on the show anytime if you ever have. I mean, I don't want to say like anytime you have a new product, because that's
Which
daily.
is every day.
Yeah, but yeah, anytime you've got something new going on, you are always welcome to come back, and I am happy to promote you. Like I said, I'm going to do a video coming up soon. Okay, thanks, Cheryl. I'll connect you too. Yeah, yeah. And to be honest, you're always welcome back here. I am really enjoying my Friday night interviews. They're so much fun because basically I'm hanging out with my magic friends who I haven't seen in forever because of the beer bug. So yeah, thank you so much, pumpkins. Thank you, Terrie. Thank you to my mods. Yay, mods! Thank you to all who joined the stream. Thank you to the replay crew. If no one has told you today, I want you to know that I love you, that I care about you, and that I am glad you're here. I hope you pray with a good fire, and I will talk to you later. Bye, pumpkins.